Hi Interior, this is Pablo. I'm a textile designer and I work with interiors and I make also other objects. Welcome to my house. I've lived in Peckham for 5 years now. We moved right after the pandemic. I love this neighborhood. I love the diversity of it. I love how there's always something going on. It's really vibrant and it's really alive, and it feels like so far it hasn't been taken over by like big brands, which feels like a good resistance. There's like pockets of green and pockets of like really beautiful buildings, and it feels like all of it comes together, which to me is very London. The kitchen is the only part of the house that when we moved here, it was owned by a landlord, and then tenants were living here, so it was in a really bad state, and the kitchen was like the nicest place at that time. And the first thing that we did was this window, which kind of brought the garden in, which to me was very important because we both, my partner and I, love gardening. Yeah, so we are still in the process of fixing it, but we try to make it as nice as possible with what we had at the time. I love cooking, I love hosting, I love having friends over, and I love that this kitchen kind of like transforms all the time. And like, I'm from Argentina, and in Argentina you always have like an extra seat on the table just in case someone pops in. And I live very close to lots of my friends and stuff like that, and it's becoming that thing of like, so someone knocks on the door and it's like, just pop in for a tea, which I think is very much of my culture, which I like that it's becoming a thing. So this is the living room. This is the place that we spend most of our chilling time, and I really wanted to make it like very low, and even the painting is like the kind of an eye level when you're sitting down, which is something that I really like, the idea of like saying everything is kind of coming down, like you, yeah, really nice music and everything. And all that I wanted was to create like this kind of environment that would serve almost like a setting the tone for the rest of the house. Like when someone comes in, the first place that I bring them in is the living room. And if we ever do the kitchen, I always have that planned of saying, okay, the living room is this way, the kitchen is going to be that way. So it's like kind of like planning ahead of what I wanted to do, my vision of the entire house. I do collect lots of things. I think I'm a little bit of a hoarder. I think that even if I'm traveling, and there's like a ticket from I don't know, Subway that is a beautiful color, I keep it. And then if you start putting all of that together, it starts becoming a map of what you want. We had that light in the old place that we lived in, but I love the people that I know live around the area, and they walk past in the winter and they say, oh, I saw the moon when I was walking past your place. Which to me, I mean, I love that, and especially if you put it at the really lowest light, it almost feels like orange. So it's like a little bit of like a moon coming out of the horizon. I just designed these blinds with this couple that called their studio is called Frank. They are amazing makers, and they like, I call them the singing blinds because they make that beautiful noise when you move them. But when the sun is like at the right spot and that tree is catching between that, you can see all the movement of the leaves, and it's very pretty. So this is the bathroom. When we moved here, it was two tiny toilets and a kind of squeezed bath against a tilted roof. So it was a little bit hard to take a bath or a shower there because it was a shower there too. So when we started doing the works here, we decided to make it into like a big room. I love this room because it's exactly that. Like if you're taking a bath and you're just like looking out of the window, it feels like you can see the trees moving. And we wanted to make the most out of the light and the garden that we had. I love this piece that we took from Ethiopia, and I was obsessed with they're like big kind of like wall hanging made of grass, but I wanted them in nice colors. So we went to this market, and I saw this guy that had one with nice colors, and I said, "Do you have more?" And then this all started taking us to this kind of like path, taking us from one place to the next, until we got to the place that every basket came from. And yeah, we found that one that I really love too. So, and it's great because most people struggle to put decoration in the bathroom because of humidity. So that's a great solution for that. It's like grass is really naturally durable. I would say mold free or mold resistant, which is a very good solution. And it has a nice thing for the sound too. So it's like it absorbs a little bit of that. The color of the bathroom is Pigeon by Farrow and Ball. And I love that it has that kind of like almost bluish greenish tone to it. This is again east, but that's south. So the bathroom all through the year, it brings a lot of light, especially to the rest of the house. And if you stand here, you can see the hallway and the other room, and they kind of all blend together, and they kind of create these layers that feels like looking at the landscape. I love this room. It has always have been like the room that I just sit there and like read a book or something, and it has that kind of like that tree across the street. It goes this bright yellow in like a few weeks, and the entire room feels like it's just yellow again, which again is Faramble's drop cloth, which has that nature of like absorbing other colors. Especially if they're like a little bit brighter at night, just have that kind of like foggy weight, which I love, and it goes so well. This is one of my partner's photographs from a project that he did a few years ago about movement. You can see the kind of like movement of that kind of like landscape and the kind of green and all of it, and it feels like this is a room made for that. I love Fei Weiwei. She's a beautiful. She paints beautiful paintings, and I got that one from Instagram long time ago when she was already famous, but now she's like super famous. So I feel like I'm glad that to have spotted something that was like on the way up. This is my office. It's never ever this tidy. It's just like a special occasion. So I thought that I will show you my best self. There's like lots of pieces here too because I work here all the time, and I find that creating almost like a ritual before working, it brings the best out of you. I love, I mean, you've probably seen it all around the house, but I love green, but I wanted something green other than the floor. And I found this piece around the corner in Frost, my local dealer, yeah, it's like I guess it's for bullets. I didn't get it perfectly right, but it's a stunning thing that I use to store my flowers and brushes, which I think is kind of a nice take on war. And then I have this all gymnasium ladder that is perfect for like seeing my textiles. Especially I have this system that when I had to do a photo shoot, and I've been telling my partner we need to do a photo shoot, I keep pulling it up and up and up. It's like it becomes urgent. It's like almost like a chronological, um, yeah, stack of things to do. This flag is a fishing flag from Japan. We found it in a market, and it was folded into this tiny thing. So it was so nice to find it. And again, it's like full of markings and full of water and everything. And there's even a cup mark there. But I love that because it's like it's not pristine for a museum, but it's good enough for me. And I love that of textiles too. When someone buys a tablecloth, they always say it's like, yeah, I don't want to buy a tablecloth because I don't want to make it dirty. And I'm like, make it dirty because it's like it shows that you had a really nice dinner party or you had I don't know, a really nice evening. So this is the main bedroom now. I wanted to make it as bright as possible. The original idea for the log fixed texture was to kind of take some elements from the church that is around the corner. It's called All Saints Church, and it has this massive window that I love, and especially there's a time of the year that the sun hits it, and then all our kitchen gets like the light from the church, which is very pretty. Yeah, so I wanted to like make as much light as possible, which is great. But in the summer, sometimes I wake up with a tan because it feels like it's just too much. And I love this is another of the photographs of my partner, which is about murmurations in the sky. He took it in Rome a few years ago, and Rome is a city that where we went for our first holiday, so it had like lots of like uh, meaning to me. I feel like this room is a little bit of Jumanji. This plant there is it's done. I mean, this summer didn't do so well because it was a little bit too hot, but it's a climber, and it's one of the only indoor climbers there is. But it's a beautiful because it has a kind of like viney thing that I can climb to things. So I want to build a structure all over it and make actually instead of a curtain, just like leaves. It's a little bit annoying when we travel because we had to say, can you please watch our cats and our plants? So this is my favorite room of the house, which is also the smallest. It's the ensuite bathroom, and I love it because it's like head to toe yellow. We use mandarin stone for the floors, and we use string from Farron ball on the walls. and it creates a kind of like, it's almost like pinkish yellow. Sometimes people say, it's like, what's the easiest way to make something look nice? And I always say, reduce the palette as much as you can, because if you have less elements that are moving, it creates this kind of like beautiful self-contained environment. This room being yellow and being on the top of the house, it kind of creates a kind of like almost like a sigh that you like relaxing into it. In the summer, you don't need the lights at all because this skylight, the size of the shower room, has that kind of element of like almost showering in outdoors, which is very nice and inviting. Yeah.